Hey, take a bath. You jump in it, stroking it, all that, backstroking it, all that stuff, right? Come on out and everything. Hey, man, I don't know you have freckles. Yeah, they moving. I think they're called leeches. Well, what do we do to get rid of them? Hey, this sucker don't want to come off. I don't think so. That means you got to understand what you don't jump in the pool and then talk about the leeches. You should understand what fresh water is versus dirty water. And if you're going to swim in a dirty pool, you might get leeches. So it is with politics. So therefore, when you're doing business with people, anything that you're doing business with, particularly mortgages, property, etc., rights, you're dealing with contract law. Constitutions is a covenant, contract. Treaties are covenants, contracts. When you're dealing with other persons, contracts come in order. Because controversies are based in contract law. Therefore, study the Constitution and enforce the Constitution because it's based and measured by that. Now you understand the divine warning from the prophet to the nations. You don't need to believe it. You understand how it functions, you see? So now, we just asked for the contract. What else do you feel about that? So now, so you're talking stuff. Hey man, I said because, you know that refrigerator box I had, the one I put the windows in? Well, he bought it. And he didn't pay me last week. And I'm foreclosing on him. Now, grade school, right? Grade school? How many people know what closing is? You know, you go to the so-called mortgage and they have a closing. You heard of that, right? Yeah. How many big people know what a closing is? All right, now, you raise your hand, and everybody else didn't raise their hand because you either doubted yourself, not that you didn't hear the word before, which would indicate the trouble you're in when you go out into the world. So imagine our children and our grandchildren, the trouble they're in if you don't know. So is the world racist? Is it that they're lack of knowledge? They're being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Do you understand? This is why they pump beliefs on our people, and the rest of the world deals with knowledge. Do you understand? See why everybody wants to find something to believe in? It's opiate. It's mental drugs. Now everybody ain't ready to give up their drugs. See what happens to our communities? So Joe Ali said, what? I came to free you from mental slavery, which you have now. And of course, everybody ain't really ready to render unto Caesar what is Caesar, so everybody let them stew in their nigger juice. So are people really neglecting us, or they just ain't going to argue with us because we know God and they don't? The whole point? Yeah. So you're asking for the contract. All right, thank you. Come on, sis. Read the second one. Now, while you're reading, I want you to analyze and imagine this is our babies here, right? 5-year-old here, right? 7-year-old there. And of course, we're all your brothers and sisters, right? And that means you got to save them, right? Yeah. And we ain't doing no pep rally, are we? No. We're dealing with knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Read it and analyze it.
This is a lawful demand and request and is hereby issued under the rules of discovery and forwarded to any named bank and or it's assigned according to law and the disclosure rules. This request is to give legal notice to any named bank, its agency personnel, and its assigned, and to inform them to proceed and to do those things necessary to set and arrange for a timely resolution meeting. The alleged borrower will have witnesses present. The resolution meeting shall be set and concluded to effectuate the above stated physical examinations and witnessing of the requested documents, and the same shall be orderly arranged, satisfied, and concluded within 20 days of the receipt of this notice of discovery and disclosure.
Mm-hmm. What are you seeing there? First, let me qualify. Don't be threatened by any of the information just because you're not familiar with it. Mm-hmm. Use your common sense. Remember, law is always rooted in common sense. When it violates common sense, it usually ain't law. That's for starters. So what are you seeing there? Analyze it. Critique it.
So it's basically you're saying that is your...
Because you're talking in defense of a move that somebody's making on you, right? Mm-hmm. In a process, right? In a legal process, right? Right? Yeah. Now, you already understand under rules of discovery and disclosure, they're obligated to this. You already understand that now, right? Because we discussed that, right? Mm-hmm. So you're asking for it officially, am I correct? So by law, can the proceedings go from this point, or do they have to satisfy this? I need you to say that. I need you to say that.
They have to satisfy it?
You said that with a question.
They have to satisfy it.
Yes. Now, you need to know that. You need to know that. You need to know, everyone needs to know that. You need to know how this works, which is the reason why I'm going over, because this applies in many other areas too, in jurisdiction of court in general. But I want you to understand, don't look at this as something separate from your interest just because you're being introduced to this if you didn't know about it. It involves what you do every day, regardless of if you don't think it does, it absolutely does. Do you understand? It's just subject matter in general that has not been exposed to us, because usually people have been lighting on us like a carcass. They've been living off of us. And just because law and history is not taught together to us, which it does go together, doesn't mean that that's not how it works. It's just that it wasn't taught to us together because we were held in forced servitude, and such information was not necessary for a field worker. Do you understand? Doesn't mean you're dumb. It means information was held back in order to create the political condition for this stuff to be done to us that we've been calling artificially and wrongfully racism. Do you understand? It's Inquisition operations. So now you know the beast. You don't have to guess it. So those who know law, know sociology, know world, social engineering, know that the problems of the world is social engineering under Inquisition operations. Those who don't know, they don't like my color, they racist. That's the argument that's given to dummies. In other words, they gave you your pill. Do you understand what I'm saying? And letting you get your steam off. You know, like if you know anything about plumbing, have a hot water tank in the bottom, you see that pipe coming off like that, and that little valve is called a pressure release valve. Why is a pressure release valve in there? Because it's been hot water and builds up steam, and if you don't control it, it'll blow up. It's water, but it'll blow up just like a bomb. Right? So the pressure release valve lets steam off. You don't always see it go psss. Do you understand what I'm saying? But guess what? No pressure release valve in a closed system of steam, because remember when water heats up, it becomes vapor, right? And then it becomes steam, then it becomes gas, doesn't it? Well, all those components within hot water system all the time. So it must be controlled, so it takes engineering, doesn't it? That's in mechanics, isn't it? Understand that societies are engineered the same way. Once you understand that, you're no longer dealing with mystery. So those who are being engineered are usually given arguments that are of no worth, like racism, prejudice, keep hope alive, let's march on it, just put it in the Lord's hand. That's for the fuel, that's for the coal. You understand what I'm saying? But the engineer knows that it's social engineering. And that is the Treaty of Verona in operation. That is the Berlin Conference in operation. That it is in operation. That is in operation. Do you understand? It's not in sequence, but it's for you to understand. And understand when Europeans are operating with you or dealing with you, all your secret societies, where you're talking Skull and Bones, Daughters of American Revolution, Kyklos, Ku Klux Klan, Union Guard, Master Masons, Eastern Star, Daughters of ISIS, etc. At the root of all of their knowledge is this. How they use it may be different. Are we clear?
Yes.
Are you clear? When you know this, someone cannot mistreat you with some attitude and you start sitting around calling them racist, because you already know what the marked deck really is. When you start indicating that you have a knowledge of this, they start indicating or start lightening up a little, because you know what's up. You're not convincing yourself that you're somebody, and took your stuff, right? So I like, sis, kicks is tight. Taking your kicks, what you say? And then take your kicks, you ain't got no kicks. Right? Came in all cute and stuff, took your earrings and stuff. And then you up here standing over in the corner. And you say, man, what are you doing? You took my stuff. Then you say, stand up, sis. Get yourself together. Repeat after me. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. You ain't got nothing, but you somebody. But you ain't really convinced, are you? Get the point what I'm saying to you? Don't go for the BS. They done took your stuff. Say, I ain't sitting up here and kind of fool myself. I am somebody. You ain't took my shoes. Now you gonna tell me how to get them shoes if you ain't? Don't waste my time. I like, the pep rally and stuff. Meanwhile, you take that plate back because I ain't put nothing in it. They ain't took all the rest of my stuff. Now you trying to take the little bit I got left, trying to keep hope alive. The rest of the world is running on reality. What's up here? That's what birthright is. But you must know it to demand it. You see what I'm saying? That's what nationality is. You must know it in order to have the status, to be capable in law of making the argument in the first place, to be heard. You see? This contract only this instrument only represents one who knows this and is demanding from somebody who's been raping them what they are obligated to, because usually when they come at you like this, they're trying to put an obligation on you, aren't they? Well, guess what you just did? You just knocked the tennis ball right on the other side of the court. You know how they've been beating people with mortgages? Just the floor's open. Do you know how they've been beating people with mortgage foreclosures? And I'm going to get back to the foreclosure issue. Do you know how?
Having them sign contracts?
Say it again?
Having them sign contracts that they know nothing about?
Well, yes.
Well, they know about them, but...
All right, start off. What is a mortgage? Give me the meaning.
A contract.
You heard, of course it is. And you've heard about mortgages. Most people have, right? What does the word mortgage mean? Now notice that you're doing that again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Something like that.
Say it again.
I don't know.
Oh, you're close. Because that means you know a little bit about language. Go ahead.
A dead promise.
Dead promise, dead pledge. That's what it means. Dead promise, dead pledge. So knowing that, you already know that there's something corny about it in the first place, don't you? But when they do the mortgage thing, they turn around and they give something to sign, and it doesn't say mortgage. It might have mortgage somewhere on it, but it says promissory note, don't it?
Yeah.
So now it's a contract, isn't it? Now you know what a sister Q trust is?
No.
All right, it's sister Q. Now, I know all y'all know what y'all have heard the issue with the straw man, right? And the straw, right? What artificial body of law was set up what is known as the straw man, which is the corporate person, artificiality, constructed on paper, not real, colored. Are you aware? 14th Amendment.
No, not really.
You're not aware? No, I'm just saying it. So now you are, right? Yeah. All right. This is why all corporations are registered in Delaware under the 14th Amendment, including Negroes, which are corporations. That's why Negroes can't vote unless the CEO and the House and the Senate sign every couple of presidents, every 20 years or so. Civil Rights Act for them to vote with names that don't belong to them, but they know Jesus. And a child can figure that out. They got to keep doing this, and it only applies to these people. It don't apply to other people. Then maybe we should rethink that something's got to be wrong. I mean, come on.
Right.
They don't have a convention called Georgie and the Boys and keep redoing the Constitution. Therefore, that can't be part of the Constitution. Anybody can figure that out. But for some strange reason, we're either slow or in park. And usually following behind some overseer talking about civil rights. which was struck down in 1883 by Supreme Court as unconstitutional Civil Rights Act. Of course, you can send a child to the library and tell them to do a book report on civil rights, and they'll find it themselves. But for some strange reason, adults can't read and can't find that, and they perpetrate that on their children, send them out in the world totally unprepared. They get beat all up, abused, and they sit around talking about rights and marching and praying, and we protest, and maybe they'll give us something. Concepts are totally wrong. It's the birthright that's missing. You see the point? It's the nationality that's missing that gives you the legal status to make the argument, because slaves, connotative, can't own property. And just because you don't believe that you're a slave, connotative, don't mean that ain't what the case is. You know how you say, we keep feeling pain. Ah, man, every time I sit down, man, it's like this. Then you say, well, Taj, you got it. Look over there. Look at the deepness of the spirituality of it. It's a thumbtack. Do you think you want to sit back there again? Yeah, see, because what we want to do, I prayed on it, and ow. And this is what we do. We keep doing the same thing generation after generation after generation after generation, looking for something different. It's a sign of insanity.
Yes, it is.
But we ain't sick, because we saved. We know Jesus and Allah, and we made Salat. And so you gotta understand the position that we put other human beings in when we're interchanging with others, and we're demanding rights and talking about racism and prejudice, and they know that ain't really what's wrong, but they can't reason with us because we immediately start talking about, you know, Jesus, I don't know if I can talk to you. You made Salat. You know, and they already know we start that kind of stuff, and after a while you start saying, oh, all right. And then, you racist too, just like the white guys. And we start that stuff. White man means sovereign. We don't even know that. I mean, and here we go, all over again. So they know that we're sick. We don't know the rules. We keep talking about the benefits of civilization that our forefathers founded, and we keep indicating don't even know the basic rules of civilization, which makes us incompetent. You see the point? So you got to know how other people are viewing you. Don't take it personal, because it's personal in its effect, but it's not personal at the same time. Do you understand? Yeah. So you're demanding your right, and you're proper person. You're a proper person with your signature. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Would indicate your qualification to speak. But then you need to know that. Now understand, these are basics. These are basics. You know, and it was their basics to those who know. And it's emphasized with us because we didn't know. So it's kind of like we're stretching it and kind of overbearing with it because we have been out of the loop. But understand that if you're back in the loop, you wouldn't have to stretch it this far. But because of the status that our people have been in, that's why the stretch is made. Do you understand? Anyone read the third paragraph? Now, when you take this home, analyze this, critique this, show it to your family, see what they understand, see what you understand, test yourself on it. Do you understand? But keep in mind, this is the writ that shut the banks down. But I want to make you understand why it shut them down. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now they're trying to start them back up because it represents a collapse of the economy. If they don't, so they trying to get around it. But the truth of the matter is, it isn't to your advantage to know it. See, so if you know the concept, right, that's behind this, do you need paperwork or do you need consciousness?
Consciousness.
Because if you have the consciousness, what do? There's a computer. We go over here and talk on here, and you go on the computer and draw up your own paper. That's what I want out of you. That's what I require from my classes. Do you understand? So if I don't give the appearance that you may be used to with some others, I'm telling you already what my motive is, so that you don't mistake or think that something's missing. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'm making sure you got your basics. Right. With respecting your intelligence at the same time. Do you understand? Because we're brothers and we're sisters. Right. And this birthright belongs to you like it belongs to me. The only difference is I got a title, and therefore I got a responsibility to share with you your birthright. Your birthright. Not mine that I'm giving to you, that I'm selling to you. It's your birthright. Do you understand? And logically, this is only an aspect. This is court, certainly not all, but it's an opportunity to give you some solid background to strengthen you, to empower you. I don't want you to come here and say, oh man, that was deep, that's cool. It's not important. I want you to go out the door having more than what you came in with confidence, not with doubt. Because when you're in the real world, when you make mistakes, they take your head. We're boxing a little bit. We're training here a little bit. Do you understand? That's another reason why I want you to get involved, because I want to become a part of it. I don't want you to be listening to me. If I'm speaking because I want to make you have the concept, but I want you to be involved so that you get the concept. Because when you get the concept, do you understand? You're capable of taking this to the children and to others, which is really what's important. Because when you empower someone else, you empower yourself. Do you understand? Because the birthright belongs to the nation, not to individuals. There's no big I's and little U's. It is us. Just because you might be driving a bus don't mean that I can't drive the bus. But the bus belongs to everyone. If you get kind of same concept. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Right. And so when you come out of class, you're supposed to come out of class able to count. You're not supposed to say, let me call the teacher because what you mean 2 and 2 ain't 4? Yeah, but 2 and 2 is 4. See, but 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, it's a matter of opinion. Ain't no matter of interpretation. It shows you don't know the formula. Same principle. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And if you get that, you understand why I'm coming at you like I'm coming at you. Come on up, brother. Read the next one. And then remember this. Feel free to critique. Because we want to make sure that when we leave here, everybody got a really good, solid concept of this. Because I want you to be effective, all right? Read it, and if you feel like critiquing it, go ahead and critique it. If you feel like backing up, because you're gaining some understanding, let it out.
Any named bank and its representatives of its assigns are also requested for the record to produce the following records, information, and documents initially noted and related to the alleged loan. The account number XXXXX/XX.
You don't have to read all that. Remember all these things where it says any name bank, your name, it's on the website so that you know to put the account number in that's alleging to the loan and the bank or the loan number, so you can bypass that. You can say Wells Fargo Bank. You can whatever but you don't have to stretch, XXX. That insert the account number. Okay. All right, go ahead.
And a related case number, which are in controversy. The discovery is to include all interdependent, interrelated, and associated instruments attached thereto, covering all the associated files and notes constructed from the initiation of the loan up to the present, reflecting all accumulated data.
What do you say? What do you say? Now remember, we're asking for discovery, right? And disclosure, right? That means everything that concerns the loan from the beginning to the end must be produced. If it's not produced, the proceedings cannot lawfully and legally go on. So if there's a foreclosure, which they're seeking what is known as a writ of execution, you just locked the court up, didn't you? Is it whether or not you had 2 jobs or not, or whether you're working at McDonald's this week, or whether you missed a payment? Is it? No. It's what? It's principles, not subject matter, is it? We're not even getting into the subject matter, are we? Meaning that if I move to court, there's a grounds upon which I move to court. That is mean all this information that you're asking for in this discovery was required for the court to have moved in the first place. That means somebody's rubber stamping, aren't they? Or either there's some racketeering going on, it doesn't. But see what these questions uncover? Now, if they answer these questions, and we ain't got into the questions yet, they're damned if they do. Now, if they don't answer these questions, they're damned if they don't. Now repeat. If they answer these questions, I don't hear. Don't let me do the rally thing. No. If they answer these questions, they're damned if they do. They're damned if they do. If they don't answer these questions, they're damned if they don't. So that kind of leaves you standing up here stuck with this house, doesn't it? Now what do? That means you got to know a little bit more, don't you? So you got to know about what? Allodial titles, national principle versus privileges, or what? Feudal law, which the mortgages are structured under. Now, again, you understand nationality, brother? Because a lot of this I'm saying really for you, but others, but I'm saying for you because it's a teaching opportunity. These are subtleties that are not spoken, but must be understood, you see. Because this is what's operating behind it. This is the canvas upon which the picture is painted. And I know that in sociology and in politics, the weak point with us collectively is not that we're not intelligent. We don't know the canvas that these things are painted on. We're usually dealing with the symptoms of the acts, but not knowing the source of the acts and or the limitations of the powers and principles of the acts that initiate such instruments that cause the symptoms that we've been calling racism and damn we poor and other stuff. You see? What this does is uncovers it. It causes them to have to admit to things that they don't want to admit to, because as soon as they admit to it, it changes the whole forum. This is no longer foreclosure. It's a revelation of fraud, which means their whole argument. So the house is no longer the argument. It's just there. But since you're there, you may as well keep it. You understand?
Exactly.
So now, if you're Negro, Black, and colored, now the city and stuff can move in as ward keepers under wardship tenures because you're not in your proper person. Because you're still a ward of state. Now this is where nationality comes in. Now you understand nationalization. Because now you can speak for yourself, because being a free man and woman, you're qualified by law all over the world to speak what? Like Durali says, I'm teaching. How did Durali begin to teach, to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. That's layman's terms. Law terms, in propria persona sui juris, being what? In one's own proper person. Now you have standing at law. Now you see why I say enforce the Constitution. So now you're locking the court up. Why? Because the judge took an oath to this. In case you didn't know it. you see? And then if you try to get around that, so he goes War Powers Act, and see in 1933 when Roosevelt did the War Powers Act, and said, Treaty of Peace and Friendship supersedes all this. And all agreements made before the adoption of this Constitution are binding to every state in the Union, and every judge of every state is bound hereby. I'm Moorish American. And you can suspend your citizens, but I ain't your club member. You got an obligation to me. Because we're the sovereigns of the land. And them other Europeans talking about their Freedmen's Bureau. And they're Europeans. I ain't confused. And they ain't Americans. We're the sovereigns. Now your nationality card comes into play. You're just trying to make this thing difficult. I think so. Because you're trying to rob me, ain't you? Well, you got obligations. I sure do. That's why I'm presenting you with your obligations. It's called mutual contracting, isn't it? And you had some stuff that you didn't disclose. And then you try to talk about foreclose, right? 3rd grade. Right, all right, so we got some babies here. So we're going to teach them basic grammar. That's an example. And we teach them words and compound words and stuff like that, right? So foreclose is a compound word, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? All right. When you go to so-called mortgage and you so-called seal the deal, they call it a closing. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So now we're appealing to your common sense. So at a closing, that means to shut all others out, to forbid any others to thereafter enter in law. So that's a closing. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, foreclose means before, doesn't it? Yeah. So if you went to a closing and then later on they have a foreclosing, doesn't that represent that something's wrong? Because you can't take before and then put it after? I'm waiting for a response.
Correct.
I'm not waiting for you to agree with me. I'm waiting to make sure that you understand what I just said to you.
So they did the closing before they...
Because I gave you a legal argument and you need to recognize that. There cannot be a foreclosing if you ever went through a closing unless there was some misrepresentation in that process, which means you just detected fraud. You need to recognize that just what you did. So you didn't go to a foreclosing. You went to a meeting where they established a Sister Q trust and they didn't disclose it to you. Doesn't that kind of make the contract void?
Yes, it does.
Now you know that. Of course, it's not saying that, is it? But don't think they don't see that when they're reading it. See the point? That's what I'm trying to get you at. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. All right. Freely, right down the road, read number 1. And then right on down, read. Hiram, you read it, number 2. Read number 3, Matheno, read on down.
Any name bank or its assigns are hereby requested to disclose and produce the original promissory note as lawful proof and evidence, exposing the front and the back, and marked with the account number, with clear signatures of the lenders and all evidence associated with the original loan, indicating the exchange of substance or specie alleged to have been issued from your any name bank, agency, or persons, and given to the borrower your attribute name.
All right, read the second one, Hiram.
Number 2. Any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce any allonge, any bill of exchange, and any other promissory notes, exposing the front and the back, complete with any affixations or allocations attached to or associated with the borrower's original promissory note and used for endorsements.
Number 3, any named bank or its assigns and hereby requested to produce and disclose all bookkeeping journal entries associated with the alleged loan given to the borrower. Include all the complete names, the addresses, the locations, and the business's contacts of all the acting trustees or surety holders.
Number 4, any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce, disclose, and reveal the deed of trust associated with the original loan, and to reveal and disclose all other notes related in any other way to the borrower.
5, any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce evidence of the insurance policy that was put in place or against the borrower's promissory note associated with the loan bearing the account number.
6, any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce all call reports and any other related notes or instruments made or constructed for the entire period covering the loan.
Number 7.
Yes.
Number 7. Any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce evidence of the original deposit slip issued for the deposit of the borrower's promissory note associated with the loan.
8, any named bank or its assigned are hereby requested to produce the original order authorizing the withdrawal of funds from the borrower's promissory notes deposit account.
Front again. Go ahead, Ada.
Number 9, any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce the account number and the source from which the money came to fund the original check given to the borrower.
Number 10, any bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce verification, evidence, and proof of the borrower's promissory note was a gift to the lender from the borrower and that the same was disclosed to the borrower.
11, any named bank or its assigns are hereby requested to produce the full and complete names and the addresses of the current holders of the borrower's promissory note associated with the alleged loan.
Number 12, any named bank or its assigned are hereby requested to produce and disclose the full and complete names and the addresses of the lender's CPA and auditor, or any other holder or record keeper for the entire period covering the execution of the mortgage or loan.
Read the next paragraph.
This writ shall stand as firm and lawful evidence of the borough's exercising his or her due process rights to discovery and disclosure, and establishments for the record in honorable and good faith attempts on his or her part to clear up any flawless entries, any
Insensate.
insensate misrepresentations, or any other misprints, mistakes, or confusion concerning his or her intent to make clear, unvarnished, and corrective resolution in the loan or mortgage foreclosure matter before accepting any vague assumptions in secondary contracts and before taking any further action. I, your name, am prepared to meet with any bank representative or its assigned forthwith, and will have attentive counsel and witness present for the record.
Any named bank and its representatives or its assigns have claimed to be a secure party of interest in the alleged loan, and thus
Alleged loan.
in the alleged loan, and thus the associated case number. Therefore, the requisite obligatory document and preserved records and manifest are required by law to have been confirmed and placed in evidence by identifiable delegated representatives for any named bank. Law and due process require this in order for them to lawfully initiate any court action, in this case and controversy. Proof and disclosure of all exhibits of the oath affirmed evidence is also hereby firmly requested.
Any failure or avoidance or forwarding complete answers and a failure to respond to this lawful writ and the nature of discovery and disclosure, and to responsibly and fully answer 12 of the clearly specified loan-related requests herein listed, will be considered an affirmation of fact and evidence that any named bank and its representative have no valid interest and no lawful claims or title of ownership in the alleged loan matter at hand. Any named bank or its representatives are required to answer to this writ/request completely and return the same as present within the allotted 20 days of receipt. Any deceptive acts, misrepresentations, diversions, deceitful redirections, or any incomplete or non-re-answer response will be considered an affirmation of disguise and disingenuous intent, and the said failure of response to any or all of the specified 12 above noted loan issues shall constitute willful non-disclosure and default, deemed as a dishonor, and thereby avoiding all and any allegations or claims of ownership made by any named bank or by its representatives, agents, contractors, or assigns. This legal notice to principal is a legal notice to agent, and this legal notice to agent is a legal notice to principal.
All right, we only got about 9 minutes, so I'm gonna run through this real quick. Go ahead, it's okay.
I'm just thinking that if we mail this, I think that, or something like this, I think that we should do it with that mail, that a signature that it's been received.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
certified, yeah.
But at the same time, we remember all, yeah, that's good because we usually do that. But I'm just saying to you, remember these obligations are on them already. And I'm gonna rush through this to make a point. Go ahead and make
Real
a point.
quick, all right, we see what is the zeros and the X's. How do you fill in?
That, in other words, this is what you do. When you pull this off the website, right? Then you transfer it to your documents. At that time, you can work it. And what you do, where it would be in red, you'd see this in red. And everywhere it's with red, you put your name where it belongs, you put the lender or the bank name where that indicate, and where you see the 00, you put the alleged account number that is the so-called loan.
So how do you do that?
It's cut and paste.
Okay.
In other words, once you take this off the website and put it in your documents, it's workable. You can change it. on site. It means it's not locked in, it's not a picture, it's not a graph. It's a workable
You
document.
said cut and paste?
Yeah, it's designed that way.
Type in.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? All right, it's not a readable document, it's a workable document. Do you understand? You can even cut stuff out if it doesn't apply to you. But the deal of it is you need to know, and a sign is when they've sold it to others and they're signed on that, and a longe is any other instrument that they sign for extra holders of the deed, of the so-called mortgage. Now the deal of it is that the bankers within 72 hours sell the loan, which means they're no longer the secured holder. So there's a whole line of other holders to that, which is why the fees go up on the mortgage of the original agreement. And the reason why the persons who sold it are still getting paid by you is because they made a sister Q account that they didn't tell you about. So they're acting as an agent trustee to your estate that you didn't know they made on your name, which is why the name is back in all capital letters when they're sending you the mortgage bills, which is what? An artificial person, a trust. They didn't tell you that. Now they got paid, they take it to the DDCC to New York and they immediately get paid the whole amount of whatever the loan is. They didn't give you anything, they sold your name and acting as a trustee. Debt goes on you. Now for 15 to 20 years, most of the time, you ain't even hitting the principal because you're sharecropping. It's based on sharecropping. It's not designed for you to own. It's a dead pledge. Do you understand? Of course, you thinking that you owning something now, you got the burden of ownership, so you paying all the taxes on something that you don't even own. You're sharecropping, which is what it's based on. It's a chattel mortgage. You understand? And it's designed to work your work life out, and by the time your work life starts going down, you're already unable to maintain the loan, and they just sell it over again. This is how it's been working. What this does is exposes all that, and then some. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Now, the deal of it is it proves it's a fraud and they never gave you anything, but yet when they foreclose on you, they're asking for money and specie, none of which they gave you. All they did was trick you into signing a contract for them to open a trust for you, and they become your trustee and they sold your name, they got paid already. And they put the debt on you. And they never gave you anything. In other words, the whole deal is that they're selling you your own estate, that you didn't know your estate. Means you never owed them anything for it in the first place.
Paying rent.
Because their claim on the property under deed law is actually under the rule of discovery from the popes of Rome. And you forgot they're Europeans. You start calling them Americans. Of course, you didn't know who you was. And so therefore, you didn't claim your nationality, which allowed them to maintain a wardship tenure status over your estate. That's what living off your virtues means. See, when you know these things, it's no longer confusing. But once you understand, you know how to counter. You're not get angry, get wise. Now, knowing that in the process of any claim, that you have a right to discovery and disclosure. See what this does? So it stops the process. So now, you're staying up there. Now you got the house, they're trying to make a claim, and you also dismiss them as owners. Now remember, when they don't answer discovery, they dismiss themselves. That's why they're damned if they do, and in 20 days they don't answer, they damned if they don't. And you send a default notice after the 20 days, 21st day, then 13 days after that, you send another default notice, and those default notices themselves, after 30 days, now become negotiable instruments. Just put a price on it. That's what they've been doing to you. Except now you're doing it to yourself. But remember, you can't capture the straw, but you can certainly deal with it on an information XRL. You got to outthink them. Anyway, I trust that you learned something from it. Understand, although we can go deeper into all this, and I wish, the weather was a little better and that we could have gotten into this a little bit more and a bigger board, because there's a lot that you need to know. But I was trying to take advantage of the moment to go beyond this and teach you a little bit about nationality and birthright to make you more effective, all right? To give you assured strength. And remember this, that one of the reasons why you see the seal at the top is because when you're doing interchange in commerce with nations, it's called flying your color. Now, either a flag, your flags, or the seal. that already sets jurisdiction so that you're not a vessel wandering in the wind, so no one can just claim it.
What did you say it was called again? What did you say it was called again when you put that up the top?
This is the seal of the ancient Moabite nation, and or yours.
Oh, flying colors.
Or you have your flag, it's called flying your colors. That's like even when you see your corporate states, when they're giving you tickets or something, they'll have a seal there implying a sovereign power that really don't reside with them, but they're flying their colors. Even the corporate states have flags. Now you understand the importance of nationality? Because it determines jurisdiction, doesn't it? All right? Study it intently, critique it, give yourself some tests, work it. We'll expand on it in the future. You understand? Get familiar with all the words on it. On the website, I should have an ancillary that gives you some of the words and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll be pushing this out later because most of the stuff is just a revamping of old stuff that's in books that I'm publishing. So since I updated, I'm going to fix the book. And this is actually like in Protocols of Liberty. So I'll publish that, and then it'll give you support ancillaries. More on how to use it too. All right? Brother Abdullah, Iltalib Mosley Bey. Come on for a second, please. Brother Abdullah Iltalib Mosley Bey teaches us etymology, and he's really a master at that. And you must understand that when you're getting into legal linguistics, that's language. That a lot of things that we use connotatively, you must be aware when you're using them connotatively. Sometimes when we're teaching, we'll be using words connotatively, but it'll be important for you to know when you're using it connotatively, and it should be qualified. And when you want to get your real power or understanding of anything, go into the etymology of the word. He teaches etymology, and I'm appreciative of him for that. And he's highly qualified, more than highly qualified. So when he's doing classes, I would do yourself more than 2 favors and come to the classes and get grounded, because it will enhance everything we do. And unfortunately, reality is that we're under war, and so therefore we don't have the option because we don't have, big institutions. But it doesn't remove the fact of the height of the knowledge. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Use it, because this information is not given freely. Do you understand? And most people have a little bit of it, get it in degrees, and they have to take oaths not to reveal it. So don't necessarily appreciate us, but do appreciate the information and pay attention to every detail. That's so that you don't get screwed by Romans or by those on your side who are actually agents for central and federal.
Let me make a point real quick. I'll have other etymology teachers here as well. Egyptian hieroglyph, Metaneter, etymology, Hebrew. All right, so I'm not the only one. Now, really quick, the Europeans, Christianity belongs to us. The word belongs to us. They use the word Christianity to hide their identity. They're Romans and not Christians. All right? So you're talking, because Christianity is not a nationality. All right? And then they'll have, in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, all right, which is distorted there, Christians and Moors. Well, Moors are nationality. Christian's not a nationality. Though Christian belongs to us, but it's not a nationality. All right? So they're disguising their nationality behind the name that belongs to us, Christian. They're Romans. They're Romans. French, all right, Dutch, Germans, they're Romans, all right? So they're using the name of our culture, Christianity, coming from Krishna, which is over 10,000 years old. So they claim the culture, the architecture, the headdress, the garbs, all right? In fact, there's a book called The Sun in the Church, S-U-N, The Sun in the Church, all right? Cathedrals used as observatories. Cathedrals used as observatories. That's our culture. The word church means circle, denoting the zodiac and sun. So what they done was they took the circle, the church, they took the church out of the cross. So they just displayed this way. But that's all it's do. Just put the circle there. Put the church back there. So we have to start reclaiming these words. God, church,
And that's what you see
Christianity,
when you see the signal.
Christmas, Krishna, all those. And this is the Europeans, what they do is, Charlie Rose said, I was watching Charlie Rose show in June of 2007. And it was on immigration. And he made a statement. Because I remember this, because I was studying, watching it, and I stood up, I got up, so that's why I remember it. So how you remember that? He said, whoever defines the language controls the issue. The Europeans make sure they define the language, but what we're going to do, using etymology, all right, is reclaim the language and define it in its etymological origin. We cannot allow this wannabe American, this wannabe white man, I say wannabe white man, wannabe American, faking white man, to usurp, to dictate to us through connotative language what Christian is, God, Jesus, Yahweh, whatever. All right? We are going to define those words in its etymological perspective. All right? And by doing that, we will raise the consciousness of our people. We will do this, and I'll show you the connection between linguistics and law, linguistics and history, linguistics and demography, linguistics and politics, all right? Linguistics and architecture, linguistics and genealogy, all right? And show you the broad and be specific in my explanations. When I bring in Sanjeti, etymology, and Egyptian hieroglyph, Mantu, etymology, Egyptian hieroglyph, and Metaneter, Rob, etymology in Hebrew, all right? Sister Zodiacus, etymology, Hebrew, biblical studies, all right? Astronomy, all right? So we're going to do an etymology series. So we're going to do this by series: history, law, health, and etymology, all right? But etymology is also history, all right? And law.
And it goes together.
So it goes together. So I'm saying actually, so it's etymology, history. So you're talking on history, you're talking etymology. You're talking law. All right? So I just want to, give you a little bit.
These yours?
Yes.
You know what I'm thinking.
You going to sit on? You was going to sit on?
No, I'm not going to sit on.
All right.
That's the thing I've been picking on him about. No, go continue what you're talking about.
So I just wanted to give you a perspective of where we're going.
When?
What's that?
When are the classes? And where?
Oh, here.
When?
Well, Zodiacus will be here the first 3 weeks of March.
He'll be putting a syllabus out.
I'm going to be putting the syllabus.
It'll be a syllabus and it'll be
the
posted.
list of speakers. I'm still in the process of getting speakers. I already got the speaker. Zodiacus, I got her first 3 weeks. He'll be here for the rest of the month. He'll be here for the rest of the month.
We're going to go into some of these things. Come with your notes.
Will be here on the first 3 weeks of March, and then I'm working on the speakers. All right, I'll have the whole syllabus. All right, for the next 4 or 5 months. List of speakers, dates, all topic. You'll have all that.
And the conditions will be a little better as we go along, because we're going to make sure that takes place too.
It'll be well organized. I'm on it.
Now remember this. When I'm impressed with those glasses. I was picking on him because he won't buy stuff for himself. And he ain't fixed them glasses for years. And when I saw him glasses with a fixed frame, I was amazed.
Oh, it's for NE. I got these for NE.
Oh, all right, so she hooked you up.
What's your website, please?
RVBaypublications.com.
What did you say too fast?
RV
okay.
Bay Publications.com.
Education?
Publications, plural.com. And also Moorish Nation Publications.
Moorish
Nation Publications.
Moorish.
That's also here with Anna E. Oh, we got to roll, y'all.
Nation.
Hope you learned something. Your eyes are bright, beautiful eyes. Now, let them mean something. Brother, you got that? Yeah. You got that? Got that? Now, this is your responsibility. Make sure she's right, because that's the key. Remember this, when it all boils down, in order to really get this concept actually right, remember everything's been flipped. Because woman herself is really the Holy Grail. This is the reason why they use dogmatic religion to flip the script. That's another key to their rulership, so you must understand that. Just not with arrogance, but with humble truth and what actually is. All right, keep that in mind. Give me some hugs.
Moistnation.com.